video, we're going to look at how to correct lens distortion and how to combine images working with depth of field. So with lens correction, we want to correct things that happen from some camera lenses, like a bowing or a kind of perspective distortion, or sometimes a vignetting around the edges of an image. So what we're going to do is open up the 06D start file, so the 6D start file from the Lesson 6 folder. And you should have an image of some ancient columns, stone columns here. As you can see, these columns that are supposed to be straight appear very curved, and around the edges you can see that same distortion, almost like a fisheye lens effect. Sometimes you want to use this effect for artistic purposes, but other times you want to change it. Luckily, Photoshop is pretty smart in how it corrects this. We're going to use the lens correction filter. So under the filter menu, you will find the lens correction option, and it opens up this separate dialog box. Now on the right side, you have two tabs. In the first one, auto correction, you have the option to check auto scale image, and then edge to be set to transparency. When you have this set, as you remove the distortion, it will automatically scale the image for you. If you don't, it's going to change the image and then you'll have to scale it yourself. So if I uncheck this just to show you, and then change to the custom tab, you'll see at the top, remove distortion. Now as I move this, you'll see that as it straightens it, it actually changes the edges, and then I would have to scale it myself at the bottom by moving the scale slider in to get rid of the transparency around the edges. Okay? You can choose to have that area filled in with a different color if you'd like. But luckily with Photoshop, and let me cancel this so we can show you again, filter, lens correction. With Photoshop we have this option to auto scale the image. And again, if you want the edges just to be filled in with transparency, that's fine. Now if I go to the custom tab, I've got two ways to change the distortion and how to remove it. The one is what I showed you already. The other one is on the top left. There's the remove distortion tool. If I click on this, I can just click on the image and drag left or right to change the distortion. Okay? So choose the method that you prefer, whether it's auto or not, or whether it's the tool or the slider. And let's set the remove distortion to about 50 or 52. Now we don't have to change the scale, it automatically did it for us. Just so you know, there are these other options here for correction. We can correct chromatic aberration. That's when you have a distortion of the colors, maybe too much of one color, sort of grainy color. Then you also have vignetting, which you can actually use this to add vignette to your image or to remove it. That's sort of the dark or white edges around a picture. But we'll leave that on 0. So once you have it set the way you want, press OK. And now you'll see how your image looks. And if you want to see just for fun, you can press Ctrl Z to toggle one step back and forth to see what it looked like before and what it looked like after. Pretty dramatic change. Much more natural looking now that we have it straightened out. And really it hasn't changed it too much in terms of the scaling. So let's do a file save as and save this as columnsfinal.psd. File save as. This will be columns final. And make sure you save this because it's the final image. Save it into the gallery folder. We'll need that for later. You always want to have maximum compatibility for our class. Okay, in the next video we're going to look at depth of field, and eventually we're going to be doing PDF galleries.